Blog Talk Radio.
And you listen to MMASucka Radio.
That is correct. You are listening to MMASucka Radio on MMACanada.net and, of course, MMASucka.com. And to the left of me, I have our producer extraordinaire, my new little sidekick, my little Robin to me, Batman. That is Mr. Jeremy Brand. Jeremy, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. Ready to get home and eat some fabulous turkey.
That's right. Thanksgiving here in Canada. So you people in the States that are listening right now, I know you're getting yours in about a month's time. But here in Canada, we got plates of food in front of us, and we are very thankful to be eating. Hopefully, some of you in Canada who are listening are sitting at your table listening to us while you're eating turkey. And I know our other special guest co-host comes on the show all the time, at least 2 or 3 times. So we can say that all the time now. He's with MMACanada.net. Mr. David Stanford, thank you for joining us, and thank you for stepping away from your Thanksgiving dinner.
That's okay, man. Make sure I had my plate before I got on.
Nice. We got a pretty wicked show going on today. We've been advertising it for the last week or so, like we always do, but we've had a bit of a pretty good response, and she's also technically, she has been in the news a lot lately. This past week for a bunch of things we'll get into. But we have UFC Ring girl Arianny Celeste. That's right, Arianny.
Woo-hoo!
I guess I could say now Playboy model. Playboy Bunny.
Cover model.
Playboy Bunny joining us. She's going to be on the line here in about 10 minutes, so we'll get to her. We're also going to be talking to Ragin Kajan Johnson from MFC. Some really cool things happening with him. He's doing a blog on our website called Diary of a Fighter. He has another one coming hopefully in the next couple days. He was just in Las Vegas training with Extreme Couture and those guys there. He's got a lot of great stories. We're going to talk to him for a little bit.
We have Nam Fan coming on to do his tough minute.
Yep, he's going to give us, probably more than a minute, but
hopefully
a couple minutes. We're going to talk a little tough, what happened at the last episode, get his thoughts on his good buddy and our correspondent here at MMASucka.com. Andy Main, who's
Speaking of Andy Main,
yeah,
his tough blog has been getting a bit of a response on the YouTube comments. People are trashing him and whatnot. So if you're listening and you loved Andy's video blogs and you loved what he was doing, get on there and show him some love because he responds to each and every one of them.
Yeah, and people who get on there and write negative shit, that keyboard warriors drive me absolutely crazy. It doesn't matter what sort of forum you go to. Whether it be the Underground or Sherdog or wherever, there's always those. It's almost like they have a right of sense of entitlement, I guess you could say, to just bash people. I hate people like that. Anyway,
they're all black belts on the keyboard. So.
Oh, absolutely, and we're just, I'm a white belt, so sorry. David, last night, I guess we had Strike Force going on in San Jose. Did you get a chance to watch that at all?
Believe it or not, I did. If there's one comment I could make on Strike Force in Canada is these guys need to really get their distribution together because broadcasting solely on Super Channel, which for non-Canadian listeners is like a premium channel that you have to order onto your package, is just idiotic because a lot of people don't get a chance to see the fight strictly because of that. But yeah, I did see him. Somewhat disappointing night, of course, seeing Sarah Kaufman get armbarred there in the third and lose her title. But, full respect to Marlo Conan for keeping her wits on the ground and pulling out a pretty slick submission. And yeah, really enjoyed the Nunes Diaz fight. Nick tried to take it to the ground a couple times and got it there once. It didn't really work, and it was a nice striking battle. So yeah, really enjoyed the fight. How about you guys?
No, I see. I'm going to disagree with you on the Diaz-Nunes fight, man. I didn't enjoy that at all. I have nothing against boxing, and I understand it's part of the game, but I just felt that they spent 5 rounds exchanging punches, and it wasn't. I don't think Nick Diaz had any intent of taking it to the ground. I mean, I know he kind of tried a lazy shot a couple times, but I just listening to him after the fight saying, hey, I wanted to show that I could box with a boxer, and I'm just, okay, fine. The biggest thing the funniest thing I had with the whole Strikeforce card, and I am a big Mauro Ranallo fan. We're going to have him on the show here soon, hopefully. But last night, I don't know if Mauro was drinking before. It was not one of his finer play-by-play.
Hairdo and all, I mean, I've never seen Mauro with slick back hair and a beard like he had.
Yeah.
Shave before the show, buddy.
David,
the hyperbole. The hyperbole was off the charts. They're when they had Gilbert Melendez on there, they're talking about Josh Thompson, Jay-Z, and Gilbert being 3 of the top 5 lightweights in the world. And don't get me wrong, these guys are definitely, Gilbert, top 5, I'll give him that. But, just trying to make the division sound a lot deeper and stronger than it actually is. And no disrespect to Josh or Jay-Z, great fighters, but when you look at the UFC's lightweight contingent, it's night and day. So to try and promote it as if they're the top in the world, I thought that was kind of a bit laughable.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into a little bit more Strikeforce later on the show here. But we do have our special guest joining us right now. She is I guess UFC ring girl, but I am going to now say Playboy bunny, Playboy model, Arianny Celeste. Mm-hmm. Are you there, hon? Thank you for joining us.
I'm here. Hi. How are you guys?
Oh, we're awesome. We were just talking a little bit of Strikeforce. We're going to get into a little bit of sort of what you're doing lately, as well as your career in the UFC. Just want to say right now it's Thanksgiving in Canada, and everybody who's listening right across Canada right now is very thankful to have you on. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you guys.
So let's get right into this because you have quite an interesting career. You're a UFC ring girl. You've done some other modeling as well. On your website it mentions you started modeling at 4 months, about 4 months as soon as you were a baby. Is that correct?
Yeah. My mom threw me into it, and that's how it all started. I really started working more as a model when I was like 16. I did my first photo shoot when I was 15, so then it went from there. Just little Vegas jobs here and there. So.
Yeah. You were born on November 12th in Las Vegas. What was your childhood like, growing up in Vegas?
It was pretty normal. We lived like 25, 30 minutes from the Strip, so it was just normal living, And then as I got older is when I really started to notice, I live in Vegas and there's a lot to do. There's, started going to the clubs at an early age. But I did have a fake ID, but I hardly ever used it, which was silly. I just wanted to have one,
Yeah, no, I understand. I had one too, so.
Yeah.
We're also joined here by David Stanford from MMACanada.net. David, throw a question at Arianny.
Well, I'm just curious. You've started doing the UFC Insider show now, and that's sort of branching out from your traditional octagon duties. How are you enjoying it?
Am I enjoying the show, hosting it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I've always been really interested in stuff like that, and I went to them with an idea a while back, and they didn't bite on it, but this time they came to me and were like, we want you to host this show, and I was like, all right, let's do it. I was super excited, and something that I've always wanted to do, and I'm learning every day, like, more and more how to be on the camera and stuff, and my first day I was really nervous, but I think I'm getting better at it. But yeah, I enjoy it.
Awesome. I got to ask you this. You were talking about how you had a fake ID when you were younger and whatnot. Did you get asked a lot? Did you get asked out a lot in high school at all?
Yeah, I got asked out, but I always had a boyfriend, so
yeah.
I I tend to put guys in the friend zone a lot. Well, in high school and now, I guess, too.
See, I hated that. Yeah.
Huh?
I hated that, good-looking woman, let's hang out. Well, let's just be friends. Let's just be friends.
Yeah, I did it a couple times.
Yeah.
Well, and let's clear the air now, because come November, you're going to have a lot of potential suitors that are going to think that or know of you that maybe never saw you before. Are you currently dating anyone?
I'm happy. That's all I'm going to say. I don't really talk about stuff like that, but yeah.
Well, hey,
gotcha.
Hey, that's awesome. I'm happy too. So that's
Thank you. Yeah.
So you've been
no details about that anytime soon. I would skip those questions.
But we had to ask, otherwise we would have people, tomorrow.
Yeah, I like
to
keep the part private.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
good.
no one wants to know even if I was dating someone or not. No one really wants to know that, right?
No, exactly. Well, yeah. You've been a UFC for about 3 years now, give or take. How did that all come to pass? How did you, did you audition? Did they just call you up, or what was up?
Yeah, I was 21 when they called me. I was going to school full time and just doing modeling jobs here and there, and my agent asked me to go to this casting for UFC, and I'm like, okay, let's do it. And I went. I met Dana and Craig Basari and tried on the outfit, did the audition, which was basically just to walk in their room and say hi.
Yeah.
And they called me back to do it, and I did my first show. And, I was just looking for a paycheck and, some spending money. So I didn't think that it would turn into what it did, So it was cool.
Did you have any reservations about doing it at all?
I'm kind of more shy, reserved, I guess, kind of, when I first, meet someone, and being in front of, tons of people, and then you add on top of that you're in a bathing suit, so it's kind of weird. It was hard to get used to at first, but now it's cool. I'm used to it by now, and it's fun.
What has this career been like for you? Like, what are some of the hard parts of the job?
Well, let's see. The harder parts to deal with, I guess, is, always being in tip-top shape. You don't really have time to not look good. So a lot of people are like, oh, I have to get ready for beach season. And that's, my life throughout the year. So, keeping in shape all the time, and also, being a quote-unquote ring girl, you get stereotyped a lot. Yeah. And that kind of stuff is annoying more than anything, and hard to deal with, I guess. But the haters, the talk on the internet, all that kind of stuff that I like to avoid. But that's about it. Everything else is great. I mean, I've gotten to travel the world, and I'm really young, and I've seen a lot of different places and seen a lot of different cultures, and I'm very blessed in that way. And I've seen some amazing fights. Got to say that too.
I was just gonna say, from the time that you started working to now, what have you? I mean, you must have learned a lot about the sport. Did you know a lot about the sport going in first, and how much have you learned over the last few years?
When I started, I didn't know much. I knew that it was on TV, and I was like, it was something I was kind of scared to watch, because I'd seen my friends watch it, and I'm like, I was not into it at all. And then I started working for them, and to know, the ways of the shows and behind the scenes, and I noticed that it was a huge deal with these people, and then how much the athletes put into actually going in and fighting. It was pretty admirable. So I got into it more, and started training just to keep in shape, and now I'm really into it. I love watching it.
Well, I'm curious, you said when you started working for the UFC, you were in school, so I take it you left school. What were you studying, and do you ever plan on going back and finishing that up?
Yeah, I was studying fitness management and nutrition. I originally wanted to be a physical therapist and work with athletes. But as I got into the UFC, it was just, it took over, and I started traveling way too much. So it was just not possible to go to school and do this at the same time. So I decided to take some time off. And I always have the option to go back. I love school and I love learning. So, it's always in the back of my mind. So we'll see what happens.
I read that you like to kickbox. Are you still doing that?
Yes, I do it a couple times a week. It's something that I enjoy, and I like to incorporate in the week in my workouts, just to switch it up, because I'll do cardio and weights and all that, but then sometimes it's great to just take a kickboxing class and take out your stress and try something different.
Yeah, because I was going to say,
have you ever tried a jiu-jitsu class?
I've tried one, and it was just not for me. It was too much of a chess game, and I just, I don't know, when I'm working out, I like to get in my zone and not have to think about anything, So it was just too much thinking.
Yeah. No, I'm doing that right now. I'm taking jiu-jitsu, and I know. And the thing is, it's such a big learning curve. And even though you get in great shape, it's such a big learning curve, and it's very frustrating. And I think if you're going to go and work out and learn something like boxing or kickboxing is a little bit, easier to take on. I mean, there's a lot of technique involved, but it's probably a little bit easier to take on, especially when you, like you were saying, you like to incorporate it into your workout. So. Yeah,
I think it's a big commitment, and if I do something, I want to do it right. And jiu-jitsu is just not up my alley. I wouldn't want to spend all that time to learn it because I like to do things perfect. I'm a perfectionist, so. Yeah.
Okay, well, you've been in countless magazines like HM, Maxim. How long did it take for you to decide to give Playboy a chance? Because that is a jump up. So how long did you decide? I can't imagine for myself if I was a woman. That would be very nerve-wracking for me. It would really have to be something I would have to really think about for a while. Did you put a lot of thought into that, or was it something you kind of always wanted to do?
It was always in the back of my mind, and actually in 2008, I was offered to test to be a playmate, but at that time I just, I wasn't ready, and mentally or physically, I think I wanted to work a lot on my body and my tone, and my curves and everything. So I decided to wait, and then this year is when I got the call and got the opportunity, and I just decided the time was right, and I'm confident enough to do this. And it's a huge step, but I discussed with my mom before and had her, she's very nervous, but I got her approval, so she's really all that matters, and I went for it. And like I said, I like to do things right, and I'm a perfectionist, so if I'm going to be on a big-time magazine like that, I'm going to be on the cover, not just inside.
And what was?
So that's why I waited.
Yeah, and that's great. It sounds like you took some time into it and made it and went about it the right way. What was that experience like for you?
It was actually really comfortable. I went to the shoot. There was about 10 to 15 crew members. It was a 4-day shoot. No, 3 days. And there was the crew everywhere, and I was perfectly fine running around naked. It's kind of weird, but I had a friend there, so it was easier to get through, but it actually was the best shoot I've been on so far.
Good. Yeah,
Maxim, I was really uncomfortable. I was freezing. They had me go in the water, and it was kind of like hell trying to get through that shoot, just because it was so cold on the beach. It was like 40 degrees. I don't know what that is in Canada, but
cold.
Fahrenheit. So, yeah, it was cold, but Playboy was much better. I mean, not saying anything about the company, but
Yeah.
as far as everything, they were just perfect. Very professional.
Yeah.
Are you really happy? You've seen the finished product, and are you really happy with the way everything turned out and the pictures look?
Yes. I really love the pictures that they published. I wanted mine to be different and not so much Playmate, you know. So we did a more of like a glamour look. So it was really cool. Instead of like the girls next door type thing.
Yeah.
Which I think I do a lot of the girls next door look, which is I just wanted to get away from that for a second and do it more sexy.
Yeah.
When you're doing the octagon girl routine, I mean, I think of are there different personalities being more girl or in terms of the way you relate to the camera?
I can't hear what you just said.
David, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Sorry, buddy. I'll speak up for you. Like when you're out there, circling the octagon and relating to the camera and to the people in the crowd, are there different personalities for, the ring girls to pull out, to be maybe more sassy or more girl next door or more vixen-like?
I think we just go with the flow and go with however we're feeling. And sometimes we're a lot more giddy and we want to, play with the camera a little more. But for the most part, it just comes naturally, whatever we're thinking. We're just there, for the guys, and hopefully they go home happy, saying, oh, she looked at me, waved, or whatever, just to make their night, even better, the whole UFC experience.
Oh, okay. So I got to get to this. I personally haven't seen the photos. I've heard that they were unfortunately leaked online. And obviously, we ran that story on our site. You had made some remarks on Twitter of how disappointed you are. Just give us a little bit of an explanation of sort of when you found that out and sort of how pissed off actually you were.
I found out on that Friday morning on my friends from Twitter. So I looked it up and I saw that they had taken pictures of pictures. So it made me really upset because I was excited for my fans that subscribe to Playboy for them to see it firsthand there and then to go pick it up. But then when I saw it online, it was like kind of like a slap in the face. And I've done a lot for a lot of these websites, and I try to be very accommodable. I like to help them out by doing their interviews and whatnot, and then for them to do that was a complete slap in the face because, it's just wrong. And, I made a phone call to a couple people, and it was taken care of, but still it's all over the internet still. So I'm not happy about that. But, you can't really stop what happens on the internet nowadays. But I just wish that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate when I heard about it because, you're right. You're in the issue. You work really hard. You've worked hard to get to that point. You do a great photo shoot from what I hear. It's coming out in November, and everyone looks forward to it, and then someone decides to take a picture of the picture. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And it like it came from the inside, too. Like, it wasn't just a fan that sent it, and I think it was, like, someone that worked for that company. So it was just very upsetting,
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I personally am going to wait till November to see it, but from what I hear, you look amazing.
Thank you.
You were talking about your mom and getting her blessing. When you first told her, what was her reaction?
She's like, oh, man, Nani, I don't know about that. And I'm like, Mom, I promise you, anything that I do, I will always be able to show you with pride, and I promise I'll never embarrass you or not be able to show you something that I do. So she took my word for it, and she was fine. 'Cause she knows me. I won't ever do anything that she doesn't approve of. So.
Excellent. Well, you're listening to Arianny Celeste here on MMASucka.com and MMACanada.net here on MMASucka Radio. Just a couple more questions for you, Arianny, before we let you go. I want to get away from the Playboy stuff, and I want to actually ask you, because, I mean, you've obviously become a pretty big fight fan in the last couple of years. What have been some of your favorite fights, and what are some of the fights you're looking forward to?
Well, I always look forward to Anderson Silva's fight because, you know, he's an incredible fighter, and his last fight showed that he is the champ, but, you know, he can also anyone can be beat in this sport. So he's one of my favorite fighters, and I'm glad he won his last fight, but I want to see him really bring it in the next fight he's in. And also the Brock Lesnar-Cain Velasquez fight that's coming up, I'm super excited for, because I love watching Brock fight, and I know that Cain Velasquez is a beast, and I can't wait to see that one. And I'm kind of leaning towards Cain because he would break records. You know, he'd be the first heavyweight Mexican champion. So I really want to see that happen.
Absolutely. And what was, if you could have any fight that you've seen firsthand as your all-time favorite, what would it be?
Probably the hardest question you could ever ask me. I can't put a finger on that one. There's too many.
You probably have seen so many. You probably enjoyed a lot, but you know, I love the ones that just keep going, like Stephan Bonner. He just keeps going. There's always blood. There's always action. Clay Guida is another favorite. There's still guys that really bring it, you know? Guys who don't stop, who just keep throwing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, definitely.
Can you even pick one fight that? Can you even pick one fight that for you that's sitting there and seeing was like the greatest fight you ever saw?
Gee. Okay.
That's making it tough for her, David. You're making it tough.
Yeah.
David,
I really don't think I can. There's too many.
David, how come I throw that question at you? What's the greatest fight that you've ever seen?
Yeah, let's hear yours.
Yeah.
Well, I'd even say most recently, I was literally sort of breathless after the Sylvan Sonnen fight. That fight literally rocked my world, like my greatest pickups of all time. You know, it was just wow, just stunned me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt the same way when I was watching that one. I was literally jumping out of my seat watching that one. So those are the kinds that I look forward to. You know, I don't like the safe fighting, the guys that go in, they're just going for the win. You know, I like to see them go for it.
Well, Arianny, I want to thank you for joining us today. We've ran short of time here. It's been an honor to interview you. We've got a lot of listeners listening right now and a lot of comments. I want to wish you all the luck in your future endeavors, and we'd love to have you on again. And we're definitely looking forward to November. I think that's when everybody should be looking to see her pick, in November.
Thank you. And look for my music single at the end of this year. It's coming out.
Perfect. Well, before we let you go, Arianny, can you give us, this is Arianny Celeste, and you're listening to MMASucka.com, listening to MMASucka Radio, actually. Let's do that.
MMASucka Radio, okay. Hey, I'm Arianny Celeste, and you're listening to Oh, sorry. I need a drink of water real quick.
I need a drink, too.
All right, ready. Hey, I'm Arianny Celeste, and you're listening to MMASucka Radio.
Thank you very much, Arianny, and we appreciate having you on, and we will talk to you again soon. All right, thank
you. Send me the email or the Twitter or whatever, and I'll retweet it whenever it goes on.
Absolutely. Thank you for your support.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Arianny Celeste joining us here on MMASucka Radio on MMASucka.com and MMACanada.net. Man, I need a drink right now. I'm really butchering that.
Yeah, everyone take a drink break.
Yeah, drink break. We are actually joined now. We're going to do a little tough recap, and we're actually joined by Well, you know what? I'm going to let my producer introduce him because, I feel like he's just sitting here in the corner doing nothing. Jeremy?
Well,
I know what he's doing.
I am doing nothing, but thanks, Dave. We're joined by our newest correspondent for the Ultimate Fighter 12. We're going to be calling this Nam Fans Tough Minute. Hopefully it's longer than a minute, but here we go. Welcome, Nam.
Hey, how you guys doing, guys? Thanks for having me back.
Good, brother. Good. How are you?
Doing good. Always good. Always a pleasure.
Hey, we just had Arianny Celeste, so you're up next.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Arianny Celeste. Nice.
Yeah, so you got a lot to live up to here now, okay? You're not doing any Playboy shooting or anything, are you?
Oh, so sorry, guys. I can't hear you guys. I want to go to the project now, but...
Well, I just asked you, Nam, and I hope to God you're not. You're not posing naked for anything, are you? Nam, it looks like you're breaking up on us, dude. We'll get you to call in again. David, hey, you know what? While we kind of work out our technical issues with Nam Fan, kind of an interesting interview with Arianny, and just she seems very direct. She knows what she's doing. This is what she does for a living. It's kind of an interesting living, do you not think?
Oh man, I can't even imagine. Getting to get paid
Look good.
And I'm sure she gets paid very well to just be at the shows, have great seats, and in between rounds walk around, and everyone round two. Wow, that's one of the best jobs going, I think.
Yeah, I would even do that job if I got to see UFC fights every month.
We wouldn't want to see it, but you would do it.
Yeah, I would probably do it.
It's not an easy job, eh? I see countless, smaller shows where, they'll get girls that have never done this before, or, maybe they have and just not into it, but they don't put out the love to the crowd. And whether it's WEC or UFC, any of the girls there, just the way they play the camera and the audience at home, they make the personal touch come across very strongly for the company, and it's a really great marketing tool. Makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, well they become spokesmen of the company for sure. Just like Nam Fan here is a spokesman for Tough here on MMASucka Radio. Nam, we got you back here. You're having some phone issues.
Yeah, I'm right here, guys. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
No worries, man. No worries. I was just asking you because you were coming off after Arianny Celeste. There's no naked photos online that we should be worried about, is there?
No.
Okay.
Not that you know of, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that I know.
Okay, well, Nam, let's get right into it, man. We watched the last episode of Tough. Your boy Andy, or our boy Andy Main, unfortunately lost. That's a tough loss. He's still going to be doing their video vlogs for us. He's going to still giving us updates. There's still a chance that he could end up back on the show through the wild card, or even just fighting on the finale. Just your thoughts on Andy Main's fight.
Yeah, man. I love Andy Main. He's one of the guys I got along with very well on my own team. I didn't get along with my team that well. But, the game plan was to stand up and try to knock Kyle Watson out. Because we knew that Kyle Watson's stand-up was successful, and we thought that Andy's youth would play a big factor in this fight. And if we were to do submissions on our back, it was only to get up. We would do submissions to have him react, he build space to get up, sweep to get up, just try get up, stay on top, or try to knock him out. But it didn't go according to plan.
Yeah, well, Josh Koscheck was pretty upset after that fight because, he had said that, in some ways Andy didn't follow the game plan. But is it tough sometimes when you're in there, and maybe Josh Koscheck should know this as well, but sometimes when you have a game plan, you go in there, it sometimes changes quite quickly, does it not?
Yeah, first I want to defend Josh Koscheck real quick. He's when someone loses, we lost 3 in a row, he never got mad that any of us lost. He never yelled at us that we lost. But I think in Andy's case, he never, gave Andy heat that he lost. What he was upset about was that he didn't listen You know, just constantly get off your back. Don't chase submission if it's not there. You know, and Andy, you know, like I said in the interview, you know, he tapped me out, and I consider myself pretty good. You know, I'm black belt, pretty good jiu-jitsu guy. You know, and he's very good. He's very crafty off his back, but you know, I don't. You know, Andy even said to me, like, you know, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, and what I want to do is I chase submission. I want to sweep. I want to do jiu-jitsu when I fight. And my thought on that is that I don't care if you're a jiu-jitsu guy. I don't care if you're a wrestler. I don't care if you're a boxer. You got to do what is necessary to win this fight. And if you're losing off your back, you must be intelligent. You must adapt to the situation and, you know, do what you have to do to win this fight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I wasn't there. We watched the fight, and it was obvious that he wasn't following the game plan. What was the most disappointing part of that fight for you the most? What was one part of his fight that you kind of just shook your head?
The most part was that we practiced getting off our back so much, and we saw a lot of opportunities where Andy could have got off his back. I think you guys can see too. Sometimes Kyle Watson gives him space. There's a space between Kyle Watson and the wall, and there's a lot of space. And I think Andy could have just easily just popped up from there. But you know, I think Andy was very confident. Maybe, you know, too confident of his own good. You know, to get off his back. You know, and it cost him the fight.
How discouraging was it to say at this point of when you were on top, now that you're down 3-0, how discouraging was it for the team? Were you guys pretty distraught, or was there still a positive attitude?
I mean, there's always a positive attitude somewhere, but I mean, because something is having fun, so no matter what, you got to keep your head up because you don't know when you're fighting. But the morale of the team has shot down tremendously. 3 in a row. All of us are very depressed, you know. Like, man, like, we're losing hope over here. But, and, man, yeah, it's not good. We need to win quick.
Yeah, and you know, it would be nice to see you get a win just to make it, you know, a little more interesting. What is I mean, from the show here, what has been the most, in your mind, what has been sort of the difference in coaching between St. Pierre and Koscheck? Is there that big of a difference? Is it just unfortunate? Because the fights have been pretty close. They've been pretty competitive.
Yeah, I don't think that the coaching is that much different. You know, how much can you really learn in 6 weeks?
Yeah.
You know? But I like the way Koscheck, you know, coaches, because it's similar to how I train, you know. When you guys get ready for a fight, you don't want to learn new stuff and try to execute new stuff in a fight. What you want to do is, you know, what you have, make it better and make it efficient for you to use in the cage. You don't, you know, you make it from what's familiar to you. You don't want to make something new and unfamiliar, try to execute it in a fight, and that's not a good idea. It's about repetition, muscle memory, over and over and over and over again. You know, that's why I like Josh Koscheck, a.k.a.'s system, their style of training very much. It worked very well for me.
And we saw Josh Koscheck actually kind of, you know, talking to St. Pierre. This is the first time we actually saw them dialogue a bit. And you know what kind of bothered me about that is Koscheck seems like that guy in high school that was a big athletic jock and just didn't give a crap about anybody, or, you know, like to pick on the nerdy guys, you know what I mean?
Were you afraid of those guys?
Yes, I was. Those are the guys that used to beat me up. But you know, we saw some interaction there, and it just didn't seem to faze St. Pierre. He's just almost kind of nervous about it, but saying, you know what, I'll just do my talking in the octagon. But Josh is still trying. He's still trying to get under St. Pierre's skin.
For me, I think, for me, from how I saw it, was more a strategic way of getting under George St. Pierre's skin, rather than just to bully him and feel better about himself. From what I saw, from what I can tell of Koscheck, from what my experience is that he's a very competitive person, and he'll try to beat you and get the upper hand any way he can. As in, he'll train harder than his opponent will. okay, to get him physically fit and ready to prepare for this fight, and also try to beat you mentally. Like, that's why he will tease you, keep your mind unfocused off training to penetrate your defenses. And Koscheck, people don't give him enough credit, but he's a lot smarter than people give him credit for.
Yeah, but, at the same time, how much, a little bit of teasing, fine. It makes the show interesting. Really, though, aren't you just putting gas? We talked about this last week. Are you not just putting gasoline on the fire, though?
Oh, he definitely is.
Is that a smart thing, though?
I think it's unnecessary. I don't need to do that, but for Koscheck, I think for him, he wants to win in any way possible, and that's him.
Yeah, I'll give it to him, man. He's a competitor, and he was kind of funny there.
You know what? I would not go out of my way to taunt someone and to get that far mentally in their brain. Bottom line, it's very strategic, nonetheless. But when I was there, guys, it's very boring. There's no entertainment, and for me, Koscheck doing that, it made the time pass by. I thought it was hilarious.
Did Koscheck actually stuff his pants? Those short shorts he was wearing? Did he actually stuff them?
Actually stuff them? I didn't pay attention to that part of. I didn't remember him wearing spandex. I didn't pay attention to that area.
Yeah, okay. Oh, fair enough. It just looked like he was having some fun there. And for him to say to St. Pierre that you enjoy guys looking at you in those, and Pierre saying no.
I thought that was pretty funny. It's funny how DSP reacts that way. It makes it more funny, I think, because he's trying to keep it composure. But I think DSP wants to come on there, F you, guys, I can see him at the first. Yeah, it comes out in French. I think he's going to bash his car.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm sure Koscheck will be up to other things as well as this series goes on, and we're definitely looking forward to your next fight. Now we're gonna have to cut this short because we've got our next guest coming on here pretty shortly. But I appreciate you coming on and giving us your take on sort of the last episode, and we'd love to have you on again next week.
Please, guys. MMASucka, I have a quick tip for you guys. Do not miss next week's episode. Hint.
All right, there you had it. Nam Fan telling everybody, do not miss next week's tough episode. We definitely won't, and we definitely won't miss you next week either because we'll have you on again to talk about it.
Yes, thank you very much, MMASucka, and thank you very much for the support. And go to www.imnam.com for more information on myself. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks a lot, Nam.
Bye, guys. See you guys later.
Nam Fan from the Tough series, and David, you're kind of you're left in the corner doing nothing. I can't believe you're not watching the show, dude. I know last week you said you don't enjoy it, but I got to tell you, it's St. Pierre. It makes it interesting. I really believe that.
Yeah, and I can't even say I don't enjoy it, right? Because really, I only watched it for a short little spurt, during its first season. But just because Nam said that, I'm going to go out of my way and make a point to watch.
Well, good thing you didn't watch it last week because there was a bit of douchebaggery going on that kind of gave fighters a bit of a bad name with, Bruce Leroy getting in some of their faces, and there's always personalities on this show though, and guys like that. But next week maybe you should tune in, okay?
Yeah, well, and because of last week, I was actually homesick a couple of days this week, so I watched Jersey Shore.
Oh,
that has got to be.
Hang on. Dude, okay, first off, before you give comment on Jersey Shore, you're not watching Tough because of your reasons, okay? I respect that. But you'll sit down for 2 days and watch Jersey Shore? Are you fucking...
I didn't watch it for 2 days. I watched it for 40 minutes of my life. I want those 40 minutes back.
No kidding.
But that aside, no. Blew my mind. I knew those guys in high school. We called them Ginos, Muchachis. I guess they call themselves, Guidos and Guidettes?
Guidos. Yeah, I really have no comment about that show, and I really don't want to talk about it on this show.
No, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about dominantground.com.
Yeah, hey,
Dominant
actually,
Ground.
David, did you know that we have an MMASucka T-shirt?
I saw that on your Facebook this week. You've updated your picture.
Not only on Facebook. I actually moseyed on over to the computer, typed in dominantground.com.
Yep, dominantground.com.
And on the front page is the I Heart MMASucka T-shirt.
Yeah, you know what? If anybody, go to your dominantground.com right now. I just want to say something about them. They just brought on Form. So if anybody knows the brand Form, take a look. It's some sick stuff.
And that's Form, F-O-R-M. Because I went to a few stores down in the States this past week, and I was like, yo, do you sell Form hats? And they're like, no, we have Etnies and DC. We don't sell Forum. So it's Form.
Yeah, it's Form. And he's one of the exclusive people in Canada selling it. It's really good stuff. Take a look. But on the front page is our I Love MMA T-shirt. I Heart MMA. Only $20, Canadian or American, I believe. Go to dominantground.com and pick your shirt up because we're actually almost sold out. We did a lot of pre-sales for them, and we're almost sold out. So take a look at Dominant Ground. Get yourself one. It's a simple I Heart MMA. So, David, get yourself one.
It's on my Christmas list.
Perfect.
You guys, big news out in Vancouver this week.
Yep, I was just going to get to that, too. UFC is actually talking about, well, they've already booked a date at Rogers Arena. It looks like it could be June 11th. And I keep wanting to call it GM Place, but it's now called Rogers Arena. And they've booked a date for June 11th. They are still talking to Vancouver City Council and leave it up to our City Council, again, to screw this shit up. But it looks like it will be June 11th. So, David, maybe you'll be coming out this way in June.
Oh, definitely. No, it's one of the nice parts and perks of the job is when the UFC rolls into Canada, get to go to the shows. So Montreal, Vancouver, looking forward to both of them.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be, well, it's going to be Montreal in December, and that actually fight was just confirmed this week as well, even though we've known about it for a while, but they actually just confirmed everything. And then it's going to probably be Vancouver in June, hopefully. Any idea when you think Toronto will be? Do you think it will be the month before? Do you think it will be later? Do you have any sort of, have you heard any?
Yeah, I mean, earlier in the year there was a report came out that March was the likely time, and I don't know. It seems it's possible. It really depends on how fast the commission there gets their stuff together. They just a couple weeks ago finally had John McCarthy out there doing his command certification course for judges and whatnot.
Yeah.
But not so much just the UFC show out there that they have to be ready for. It's sort of the flood of would-be promoters that are going to want to start setting up shop. And so March, maybe a little later, we'll have to see.
Yeah. You know what? One thing about Ontario, and just hearing everything that Showdown Joe has been saying as well, is that they're going about it the right way with, the provincial sanctioning, but, getting in all the right people, making sure that they have all their I's dotted and T's crossed and blah, blah, blah. But they're going about everything the right way, so I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't March. But, at the same time, how cool would it be to see UFC in Toronto in May and then UFC in Vancouver in June, kind of have a Canadian spring?
Well, and the way Tom Wright's talked about it of doing, upwards of 4 shows a year, because if they can do one in Vancouver, at least one, maybe more in Montreal like this year, Toronto, then you've got Edmonton or Calgary, whichever venue works for them. Ottawa would be a great place. And then the fight night shows, Canada's got so much potential, and I guarantee the Canadian fans will sell out every single show for them.
Yeah, absolutely. You could probably take those fight nights to the larger cities, but you could, and reduce the ticket prices. But you can also take them to those, not major cities, but some of those smaller cities as well.
Well, all across. I mean, even potentially Quebec City, Halifax.
Saskatoon.
Even if they went to the interior of BC, got an arena and went to Kelowna or something, Canadians are just sick for MMA and the UFC in particular. And, you just look at the amount of time it took to sell out Montreal when they first went there. Vancouver tickets didn't even go on sale to the general public. It's just insane, the love of the sport here in this country.
Okay, yeah, you know what? We're just trying to get Ragin Kajan here, and when we do, I'll let you know here. But kind of talking about what you were saying about scalpers, that was a big problem here in Vancouver. Is it a big problem was it a big problem in Montreal as well?
I didn't notice it as much. I mean, Vancouver, it was crazy. The scalpers ended up buying all the tickets, and whereas in the past shows in Montreal, resale of tickets has been super easy for people that end up buying maybe 4. They're going to sell pay for 2. But with the Vancouver show, there's no way you can sell tickets.
Sorry, David. We got Ragin Kajan for some reason. We just ended up calling out to you right in the middle of what David was saying. David, just continue your thought on that, though. Ragin, thank you for joining us here, and we'll get to you in a sec. But, David, just continue your thought here because I actually have a point to make.
Well, yeah, no, I mean, even I had a couple of tickets extra to sell for the Vancouver show, and the resale market was just flooded because all these scalpers go on there with their bots or however they manipulate the system and scoop up all the tickets and just jack up the price for the fans that actually want to go see it.
Okay, so I was actually one of those people, okay, and I wouldn't consider myself a scalper, but I did buy, you buy tickets for you and a couple buddies, and then you buy a couple extra because, you're going to sell those off and you can kind of pay for your night. I did that, and I got royally screwed because there was no market for them because of how much people priced them up for. Even when I knocked the price down to cost, I still couldn't get a hit on those UFC tickets, and I actually had to sell them below cost for the most part. That's when people. That's sort of the side that people don't understand. When you have all these scalpers or all these people who are buying up all these tickets before they go on sale to the general public, and then you spike up the price, it actually hurts everybody. So.
Yeah, no, it was pretty terrible. I didn't care much for it. But let's get to Ragin Kajan here because this is a man I've been wondering where he's been at since last time I saw him at MS23. That was almost a year ago.
Ragin, where have you been at, buddy?
Oh, man, I had to figure out my fight camp. I had to get all my trainers in line and stuff, and I just had a bunch of situations I had to deal with before I could go back in the ring and know that I was going to perform at 100%.
Well, let's talk about sort of your little exploits that you've been doing, and we want to thank you first off at MMASucka.com, and I believe they were on MMACanada.net as well. Your Diary of a Fighter has been your first entry has been riveting. Really, it's been a really great read. You were just recently. Why don't you tell us where you were just recently, actually?
Yeah, I was down in Vegas training at Extreme Couture with a bunch of the pros down there. We got the invite to go down to the pro camp for a week, so we hit that up. And I was down training with like Martin Kampman and Forrest Griffin, Tyson Griffin, Mike Pyle, like all these wicked guys. And it was good. It was great. We had an awesome time. We trained at Drysdale's gym for a bit, did some jits there. It was amazing. It was a real eye opener, and it was a really good experience.
Cage, how did that experience down there differ from your experience training up here in BC?
It's just a whole nother level, you know what I mean? Like, when I go down there, like, up here, it's kind of like I've outgrown the scene here a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I've got some really good training partners here, and they give me some really good goes, but, like, I've got a couple of really good jiu-jitsu guys, I've got a couple of good boxers, but there's nobody that kind of can beat me up everywhere, you know what I mean? And I go down there, and, like, people are taking me down and, like, beating me up on the ground. They're beating me up stand-up. It's awesome. I love it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not getting beat up, like, something's got to change. Because if you're always winning, then you're not going to be improving at the same rate. If you're getting your butt kicked all over the place all the time, well, then you're going to be improving at a drastic rate, which is what happened when I first moved down to Revolution. And I was training with Coulter Gill all the time, like Bibiano Fernandez, Pele Landi. Like, we had a really sick team. And a lot of the people have retired. A lot of the people have moved back to Brazil and left the country. And I've kind of like, right now it's kind of like me and Tyler Jackson. We're just kind of like one-on-one in it all the time, which is awesome. Like, Tyler's an amazing training partner, but I'm really used to his style of fighting now, and I need to have like 10 Tyler Jacksons of all different sizes and shapes and fighting styles. You know what I mean? So that's why it was really good to go down there and train with guys like Michael Chandler, who's fighting in Bellator, amazing wrestler. Like Mike Pyle, like sick jits game, really amazing off his back. Like they have a whole bunch of pro boxers too that like I haven't even sparred anybody like them. Like I can't even see their punches at all. Like like I'll spar with like Tony Pep and stuff like that, and he's wicked, like absolutely amazing, and he's super super fast. But I can still see the shot that hits me. Like it still hits me, but I see it coming. You know what I mean? These guys, I don't even see it. It's just like, what was that just hit me? I have no idea. You know what I mean? It's amazing, man.
So of those fighters, you mentioned some pretty big names: Martin Kampmann, Mike Pyle, Tyson Griffin, Forrest Griffin. Of those guys, which of the sparring sessions do you remember the most, and which like stuck in your mind?
The one that stuck in my mind the most would probably be the session I had with Mike Pyle on Tuesday, because the guy that he's fighting, Hathaway, is a lot like me. Like he's really rangy and long. He moves pretty well. So as soon as I got there, he's like, "Oh, can we do the first 4 rounds together? Like just me and you?" I'm like, "Okay, great." I'm fighting this little short guy, and I'm sparring this massive dude. But it was awesome. Like guy just beat me up all over the place. Like I couldn't take him down. He was getting me down. I was landing some standing up. I had him in triangle trouble a couple times, but guy's just like super wicked, man. He just beat the crap out of me for 4 rounds straight. So that was a real eye opener. And then when I went to Drysdale's gym, Robert Drysdale, I was talking to him, and he said he swears that Mike Pyle is all pound for pound the best guy in Vegas. So that's pretty good for me to know that I can be in there and actually be competitive with the pound for pound best guy in Vegas, as far as a guy like Robert Drysdale is concerned. And he's a pretty good gauge of who's good and who's not, right? The guy's a wizard. So it was good. It was amazing.
How ready do you think Pyle is for Hathaway next weekend?
I think Pyle's going to smash Hathaway in 2 rounds. I say subs him with some crazy weird arm lock, probably set up with a Kimura. He set up this weird arm lock off this Kimura. Like he did it to me like 5 times. And I try to defend it different ways every single time, and he just has other answers for it. You know what I mean? You end up going back to triangle, then back to arm lock, then omoplata, then arm lock again, and finishing on like a wrist lock. You know what I mean? Like no matter what you do, he's got an answer. So I think, like, I didn't think his stand up was all that great, but he was landing on me all the time. Like kept landing his right hand. His right hand's super dangerous, and it's really hard too. I didn't think he hit that hard, but he hits, man. I think Hathaway's in trouble, dude, for real.
So was heading down there, was this all part of getting ready for your fight coming up on November 12th?
Yeah, definitely. Like we know, I've known that I had to change stuff up. Like I'm not happy with the results that I've had lately. Like not even just the loss that I'm coming off of, but the fight before that, I don't think that I performed at the level that I could perform at, and that's just because I'm not training with guys that are able to push me like I need to be pushed. You know what I mean? And if I'm training with a guy that's a little bit maybe scared of me or something, scared to get kicked in the head or something, and he's not really pushing me, I'll have a tendency to get lazy and just like kind of walk around and pick him apart with my jab and just like and not put that constant pressure on. But when I go down there, like I don't have a choice, man. I gotta fight. Like you gotta be on the guys constantly, otherwise you're just gonna get done. So me going down there was 100% just to train for this new fight with Orestes Bertrand and make sure that I'm in peak physical condition and that my mind's ready to go.
You seem to, I don't know, it kind of sounds to me like you're being a bit hard on yourself. You know, you went on quite a run from 2008, all the way through just up to the end of 2009.
Yeah.
And, I think of that fight at Heat XC you were talking about against Josh Russell where, you say you weren't performing up to snuff. And you looked really good. You won the fight. And even when you lost to Ryan Mahan, you were winning right up to there until you got kind of concussed or knocked out by him dropping you on your head. Where do you see the weak points in your game these days?
I'm not saying that there was a whole bunch of mistakes that I was making in those fights. It was more just the energy that I was pushing the person with. Like I wasn't pushing quite as hard as I should push people. Like I know the worst people for me to fight aren't the most technical guys, aren't like the guy that has the harsh knockout power. It's the people that I call pressure fighters, and that's people like Steve Claveau, who just don't care, and they're just in your face all the time, grinding. Those guys are the hardest for me to fight. So I try to emulate that style and put a whole bunch of technique behind it and still bring that energy. And I don't believe that in those fights I had that same push and that same energy that I had when I was fighting guys, when I fought for XMMA and I won the title and then defended the belt against Steve Claveau. That wasn't the same energy that I was fighting with. You know what I mean? So, like, I am my hardest critic, and I hold myself to a higher standard because I don't want to be a journeyman. I don't want to be just a Canadian champion. I don't want to be just the best guy in Canada. I want to be the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world ever. And that's my goal, and that's my ultimate goal. So in order to do that, I have to do things different than everybody. I have to do things better than everybody. I got to be working harder than everybody. I got to be pushing harder than everybody. And I got to be thinking faster than everybody. So, of course, I have to hold myself to a higher standard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, go ahead, David.
Well, yeah, I'm even wondering, because you've taken, it's going to be just shy of a year off here. Is this going to be the dawn of a more active stint for you, or are you planning on coming back and fighting for a while now that you've had quite a bit of time off?
Oh, yeah. I'm already, I'm going to call Pavlich on Monday and see what his next show is. You know what I mean? After this fight, I want to fight again in 6 to 8 weeks and just keep banging them out every 8 weeks. If I could fight every 8 weeks, that would be perfect for me, because judging, just even looking at my career, if you see when I go on a run, it's usually when I'm fighting all the time. If I take a whole bunch of time off, generally speaking, I don't do quite as well when I come back. But when I'm really putting them together and fighting all the time, then I know I'm at my best.
Yeah, so sort of just moving away from that fight, and I guess it is tied in with your fight in November. I noticed on your Facebook today that you've signed a one-fight deal with Ken Pavia's MMA agents. Explain a little bit about that.
Well, since we're on TV this time, we want to bring in some big sponsors, and it's really hard to get these big-name sponsors like Full Tilt Poker and guys like that to give you big numbers unless you're with a big agent. They just won't even take your call. So we had to sign with Pavia to try to get these guys on board and to get me some real money so I can actually do this and make a living at it. Because at this stage of my life, if I'm not able to make a living at this, I'm gonna have to kind of go into teaching and open a gym or something, because I need money, man. I gotta feed my family. I gotta live. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not down with being that stereotypical broke fighter anymore. I'm sick of it. I've done it for a long time. And I'm over it, man. I want money, so
I guess sort of like the last time you were talking about with Ryan Ford about him getting an Escalade. You want one of those too?
Well, yeah, I want something. Somebody needs to be giving me a car right now. I'm already on top of that. You know what I mean? Like, I've been talking to some guys, and some things are coming through already. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe I might end up in that new Scion TC, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see what I get.
Explain a little how you came into contact with Ken Pavia. Like, how did you find out about MMA agents, and did you phone them up yourself, or did Pavlich put you in contact with them?
No, actually, it was Bill Mahood, my manager's idea, actually, and that goes to show how good of a manager he is and how good of a coach he's been through my whole life. Because this guy, he's absolutely no ego. If he can't get it done, he'll go to whoever can. You know what I mean? Like, he called Full Tilt Poker. He tried to get a hold of him. It wasn't working. So he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna bring in Ken Pavia and we'll see what he wants to do. And Bill still tries to go get me sponsorship, and if Bill gets it, then I give him the commission. If Pavia gets it, I'll give him the commission. If I get it, then I take it all for myself. You know what I mean? So that's who got me in touch with him. I was actually talking to him maybe a year ago about management and stuff like that, but since I wasn't on TV, he wasn't really interested. You know what I mean? Unless you're on TV, you're not going to be getting the big sponsors to put their name on your back. So it's not really worth it to him unless you're getting that live TV coverage that HDNet's providing.
Excellent. Ragin, we're running short of time, and it's Thanksgiving weekend, and we want to let you go here. Just before you go, you went to Las Vegas, you trained, you got your upcoming fight coming in November here.
Yeah.
Are you going to go do the Vegas thing again for your next fight? Is this you going to try to make this a reoccurring thing? Or?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend as much time in Vegas as I possibly can, and the more sponsorship I'm able to get, the better. Like my buddy Pat Nadeau at Gold's Gym Burnaby helped us out with this one. He helped us out with like plane tickets and accommodation and a rental car. So that was amazing. That's pretty much the reason that we were able to go. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to afford it because I got to work and pay the bills too, right? So just taking time off work is hard for me. But if I'm able to do good on this fight and MMA agents come through with some big sponsorship dollars, then for sure I'm going right back to Vegas, and I'll be able to spend maybe 2-3 weeks there this time, and then after the next fight, maybe I'll be able to spend 6 weeks, and eventually I'll be doing my whole camp in Vegas, and I'm going to be fighting out of that gym. Eventually, what I'm looking at is going to be being an Extreme Couture fighter. That's what I want to be.
Wow, so you've obviously come away with a very good taste in your mouth and a really good positive experience that you actually want to live there and train there.
I'd love to live there, but unfortunately, my girl is based here, and her career is based here, and I love that girl to death. I could never leave her. It would rip my heart out. So what I'm gonna have to do is just be going down for camps, coming back, going down for camps, and if I'm away for 6 to 8 weeks at a time, that's okay, right? But I don't think I could just like up and leave completely. Yeah. So as Arianny Celeste just said when we had her on here just a little while ago, you're happy. What was that? You're happy? You're happy. You're a happy guy right now. Oh, yeah. I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Loving life. And we love having you on, and we really appreciate it. We're gonna definitely get you on again before your fight. You're one of our favorites, and we wish you all the luck. All right, man. You guys are my favorite, too, man. Keep shouting out. Much love, baby. All right. Thank you. That was Ragin Kajan Johnson. Again, he's fighting November 12th at MFC. And, David, you're obviously going to be at that MFC fight.
Yeah, I know. That's going to be a huge one. MFC's finally going to have some belts on the line again. Jesse Juarez against Doug Lima for their welterweight title. So, yeah, it'll be an exciting night of fight. Yeah, excellent. And, we brought you sort of away from your Thanksgiving dinner, and we really appreciate having you on. So I'm going to actually let you go and get back at it. Hey, and just before I do go, he mentioned Martin Campman. Just wanted to throw a shout-out. Martin Campman's actually going to be in Edmonton doing a 3-day MMA seminar coming up November 19th with Vanderlei Silva, Amir Sadala, and Jason McDonald. Wow. So, yeah, no, it's great. $300 for 3 days. You get to watch the UFC with the guys, train with them for 3 days, all sorts of other activities around it. So check out kamikazepunishment.com or MMAcanada.net and Combat Captured. Always helping us out and appreciate it, so shout out to them. Yeah, so again, that's in Edmonton, and what's the date of that? That's November 19th. Yeah. Second event Kamikaze Punishments put on, and they bring in 4 UFC fighters. It's really great, first-class operation. Was out to it last time, and highly recommend it for any fan or fighter that wants to learn some new things, learn something from scratch. It's just a really great experience. Awesome. We'll make that your shout-out because you hate doing shout-outs, so that was your shout-out. David Stanford, MMAcanada.net. Make sure you check out their website. They have great content. David, thank you for joining us today, man. Hey, thanks for having me. You guys have a happy Thanksgiving. You too, sir. You too. All right, so here we are, and we're going to wrap this show up pretty quick, but I want to do a couple shout-outs as well here with Jeremy. We're really excited about a couple things. One is a sponsor that we just brought on, and you'll see them on our website quite shortly, and we'll be running commercials on this show as well for them, and among other commercials, which we are currently recording. Clinch mouth guards. They are now involved here with MMASucka Radio and MMASucka.com. We're really excited to have them on, and I recommend that you go to their site.
Now, just because you may not be competing in MMA, but if you are, I'd highly recommend getting a custom mouth guard. But if you're in any sport like football, especially hockey, anything like that, these guys can do up a really nice custom-made mouth guard for you. So if you go to clinchguards.com, that's www.clinchguards.com. Clinch is spelled K-L-E-N-C-H, by the way, not C, but K-L-E-N-C-H. Clinchguards.com. Check out their site. They've got sports guards. They've got smile gear. They got things, if you're in roller derby, they've got a mouth guard for you. Anything you need a mouth guard for, they'll do it up. So we want to thank them for joining the MMASucka family. And we've got more announcements coming as well next week. One announcement I'm going to make, actually, is next week we're going to have a special AFC Armageddon Fighting Championships 4 show. We're going to have a couple special guests on to talk about that. That's happening in Victoria on November 6th. And we're going to be giving away 2 tickets to that show. So 2 tickets to Armageddon Fighting Championships. So am I right about that, producer
You're definitely
Jeremy?
Right, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So someone's going to be able to go to see the show for free. So we will give you more information. If you go to our Facebook page, go to facebook.com/MMASucka. Check out our Facebook page. We will update you on how you can win those 2 tickets to AFC. So next week, AFC show. We hope you're listening. And any other shout-outs we're missing?
I think we should shout out Rain Full Contact.
Oh, absolutely. How did I forget that?
Exactly. Command, Conquer.
Rain. Command, Conquer, Rain Full Contact. They actually had some interesting stuff up on their Facebook page this week that kind of got some attention. What was that?
They have some new gear that came out.
Yeah.
I believe, yeah. They got some white gloves.
Yeah, some 10-ounce, 16-ounce gloves. They're really sweet.
Selling super quick, so if you want them, check out dominantground.com.
Dominantground.com or rainfullcontact.com as well.
They also got some new Thai shin pads in, but unfortunately they sold out the day they were brought in.
Yeah, you guys got to get on top of this, Rain. They are doing some serious things. They're a local Victoria company, but they are selling everywhere right now. They're really one of the hottest MMA companies out there in North America right now. They're growing very, very fast, and now is the time to start looking at their stuff, rainfullcontact.com.
For sure. Finally, I'd just like to thank Raw Academy for giving us the space that we use today. Raw Academy is located in Vancouver. It's got 40 by 40 mat space, 2 boxing rings, a juice bar, a weight room. Come down if you want to learn the 4 disciplines of Muay Thai, wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and boxing. That's it.
Yeah, no, that's it. And thank you for listening, everybody in Canada. We wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody in the United States, keep on listening. Keep it locked here on MMASucka Radio. Again, next week is going to be our AFC show. So other than that, we are out. Thank you for listening, everybody, and thank you for your support.